the appreciation of all that you are.
And which we have to giggle because our topic is
so the topic is experiencing the affection you deserve. So what does that bring up for you? Experiencing the affection you deserve.
Well, as I look at my sad wee boy
your
dog
who's
ignoring me because we've got a new puppy in the house, and so having a new puppy means the older puppy, who's 8 years old, is a little bit put out.
Debz is a stressologist. She will stretch your mindset to think bigger than you've ever thought before, with follow-through techniques that are realistic and achievable to blow any fear out of your mind. Moira is a mindset cultivator. She will help you align your personal trinity of self-trust, inner awareness, and self-confidence so that you discover and share your unique gifts and purpose. Together, their goal with these conversations is to share how our inclinations do not always work in our best interest and to provide the knowledge to leverage the gifts that already exist within each one of us. Their desire is to help you learn how to access the habits and behaviors that will lead to positive change and your best quality of life. Welcome to your deliciously motivated mindset.
Hello, 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 hello. Don't you think it's fun how when it's Moira introducing us, it's always so very soft and gentle?
And then there's Deb.
And then there's Deb. Hello, dear listeners. Hello, dear Deb. Here we are, Debz and Moira.
Hello.
Debz and Moira with our deliciously motivated mindset conversations. Welcome, welcome.
Oh, yay, 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 yay.
And as always, we have our great topic for today's conversation. Or as we say, Debz and Moira. Debz and Moira speak. This is another goodie.
This is a bloody goodie. That's Deborah, if you didn't pick up the accent.
Yes, that's Deborah. So, dear Deb and dear listeners.
Oh, man.
Before we get into our conversation, we like to, and we do this ourselves, and we like to encourage our listeners to rate yourself on a scale of 0 to 10. And this is just a wee bit like an emotional guidance system because we're all emotional beings. And when we show up and be completely present to ourselves, we get to navigate and shift through and blow things off that we don't need. And it just feels good. So when in this rating system, 0 is like nothing's got you. 0 is zen. You're feeling completely calm and at ease. And then 10 is then, OMG, holy crap, I'm so stuck. I don't know what to do. help me. And we move up and down that scale throughout a day. And so we're going to do that just now. And like I said, I'd encourage our listeners to just jot it down. And then we'll check in again at the end. So all that being said, dear Deb, where would you say you are?
Well, First, I'd like to say I would like to say that, well, I'm a 0. I do know that. But this is actually a pre-recorded one. We're not live on this. So do not think that we jump on and we are completely 0. Ever.
Good point.
Good point. I would really like to emphasize that because I've gone right down. But I also know that when I talk to Moira on my days, my Tuesday, her Monday, that I know whatever's going on in my life, Moira is going to resolve in 5-10 minutes of us chatting. So when we do before we record, if we rated ourselves, go, oh my God, I was a 6, and then we start chatting and then we go to a 2 before we start our podcast or anything. So don't think that just because I'm starting at a 0, that I've woken up and have an amazing, beautiful sleep and I'm sitting at a 0, because I wasn't a 0 before we started this. But right here, right now, as we start this pre-recording, I am a 0. But I just want to let people know that I don't go, oh, I'm a 0, because
no, and I'm glad you shared that, because that is actually very true. Because I can think of in past times where I've come on and been in a bit of a palaver. Maybe I was at a 7, and so then Deb and I will talk and riff about things, and basically figure things out, and then all of a sudden, oh look, and I'm at a 2, and now let's press record and create this episode. So
well, we actually just did that before, didn't we? We had an issue that we talked about and said, okay, we'll deal with it later. Well, you said I'll deal with it later, and just it seems to have just shifted from us just talking about it.
Yes, exactly, it did, and I got confirmation of that. So absolutely, and so really inspiring. This is a key piece about allowing us to tell the truth about where we are, and know that it's always going to shift and change. And I've experienced the 9s and 10s, and I know Deb has too.
But I also know that on those days, if I had this yesterday and I'm at a 9, I know that the moment I talk to Moira, or even just knowing that I'm going to talk to Moira in the next 12, 24 hours, my levels will shift to go, okay, well, I can just park it until I talk to Moira.
Yeah.
Or like, and I think that's it. So I would like to think that people go, okay, I'm a 7, but I know we're going to listen to Moira and Deb's podcast.
Yeah.
So it's going to shift things on me.
Yeah, absolutely. Very cool. So you said,
in saying that, I'm a 0.
You're a 0. I'm a 0 too. But thank you for sharing that with our listeners and with me, because it's the truth. Because and the other reason I'm really glad that you said that is, even when we know we ought not to, people do still have the propensity to compare themselves to others. And so, like you say, some of our listeners might be going, oh gosh, look at that, Debz and Moira, they're always at the 0 or the, and it's like,
no, we've just talked before we got to the 0.
Yeah, and before we pressed record, then, we've kind of adjusted.
And I actually remember there was a few, I know Moira's about ready to start, there was a few that I actually went from a lower number to a higher number afterwards. I'll be like, okay, yep, I feel like a 2. And then I was like, okay, now I'm a 4 or a 5. And I'll be like,
that. I remember that happening. Absolutely. So there is no right and wrong way. It's really a case of getting to know you, treating yourself with the loving kindness, the respect, the appreciation of all that you are. And
which we have to giggle because our topic is.
So the topic is experiencing the affection you deserve. So what does that bring up for you? Experiencing the affection you deserve.
Well, as I look at my sad wee boy dog who's ignoring me because we've got a new puppy in the house. And so having a new puppy means the older puppy, who's 8 years old, is a little bit put out.
Yeah, not so special anymore, Mom.
He's not getting the affection he deserves. He is, but in his mind, he's like, yeah, nah, I can't lie on the floor anymore. I have to lie on the couch because that little basket case can't get me. And I look at him and he's just brokenhearted. I look at him now. He's just like, okay, I know. Yeah, he's just like, what? So experiencing the affection you deserve, we all deserve the love bubble. We all deserve the best of everything, no matter what you've done or not done.
Mm-hmm.
We all deserve that.
Yeah.
But you have to feel that, because I can tell you deserve the best. I can tell you that you're amazing. I can tell you that you mean the world to me. But unless your heart feels it or your soul feels it, you're only going to take in 1%, 2%. Oh, yeah, I know everyone loves me and everyone, values me, but nah, I don't feel it, because you have to feel it yourself.
You have to feel it yourself from yourself, though. Wouldn't you say?
Yes, yeah, definitely.
It's like, if I deserve and desire affection, unconditional love, actually, it's even more than affection. It is unconditional love, loving kindness.
Into your core.
Acceptance. Right to your core. Absolutely. And that's what every one of us deserves. It's our birthright, in actual fact.
Yeah.
So when we feel like it has to come from outside of ourselves, that's when like you're saying, you only take in 1%.
Totally.
Because it's an inside job. It has to come from within you. So that when you get it, other people showering affection and kindness and love on you, then it's a bonus. It's a cherry on top of all of the affection that you've already showered and enfolded yourself in.
Yeah, well, anything else is BS. Anything else, you're just literally going, don't believe it. Why would they lie to me?
Yeah.
And your self-talk is like a fast track down the flipping hill before you know it.
Absolutely. Which then ends up being into the crazy making, I can't have affection because I'm a bad person. I'm a flawed person. I'm not worthy of it. I am, back when I was a kid, this is how it was happening. And we can get
This
into
is all I'm worth.
So many stories about it. Yeah, this is all I'm worth.
Yeah. And I think, well, but the thing is, so many stories, that is like a tornado sometimes, those stories. They just appear from nowhere and they just go round and round and round. And it, and then you start believing, you go, yeah, but of course this all refers back to when I was younger and my mum said this to me and I was 4 and this all goes, and and now I'm 70 and this is where it all came from. And it's just like, whoa, hey, back up the bus. How did you get that quickly into escalating of, and I'm going to say psychoticness, but it's not psychoticness, but I mean it's
we'll just say crazy making.
Crazy makingness. And it is, and it just goes, and you spiral that goddamn quickly. You don't even know what's hit you.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing, what it is. But I do want to go back to the word deserve, because we do attach, you deserve this, you deserve the best. And if you do not believe it, in your core, not from what other people say to you, Moira's talked about that. If you do not believe it in your core, you will have trust issues, you'll have worry, you'll have fragmentation in your mind. You will not get it, that you will think that they are just feeding you shit, and you won't believe anything that's said from them moving forward. And that is the sad thing I'm going to say.
Absolutely. And you know what this makes me think of is this idea that I've said this to clients before, is you are not broken. I'm not broken. Yeah. We are not broken. We are deserving. And I said that a moment ago, is our birthright. Our birthright is unconditional love. We don't have to do anything to deserve it or to get there. So it's really funny. I had a conversation with a client a couple of weeks ago, and she was telling me all the different things that she's done to feel good about herself, to feel more confident, to feel to personal development types of processes. And I said to her, my gosh, it's like she's done all these things, and it's like, yeah, but I still have so much to do, or so far to go. And I said that to her. I said, yes, but you are not broken. And you know what she said to me? She said, oh, you don't know. You don't know my past. You don't know.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
I was like, wow.
So even that story alone, holding on to that story, holding on to that script, that belief, and it is a core belief.
It is
a core story. That's a Moira, you're going to have to be a miracle worker to get me out of this problem I've got, or whatever, because no one else. I've seen 10 psychologists, I've seen 30 counselors, I've seen, every Saturday night drinking with my friends, I've seen, all those things, I've seen energy here, Moira, you're going to have to be a miracle worker. It's like, well, actually, let's just look at your freaking story that you're holding on to.
Exactly. Because even if, no matter what suffering or or anything really, choices that you've made or not made, or what people have said to you or about you, you still are not broken.
Yeah. It's interesting because, I know when people say to me, oh, Deborah, you need to promote yourself more. You
Mm.
need to tell people you're so good at this. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know, okay, yeah. And I find it easier to rave about someone else than rave about myself.
Yeah, me too.
Like, I think all people say, but you've got to plug this and you've got to do this and you've got to do this and you've got to do this. I'm like, you know what? I don't want to be that that person who just raves about myself. I just want to go, this is who I am. If you gel with me, you gel with me. Come to me for work or not. And that's the way I would rather do it than have a marketer say, you must say this and you must use these words, and NLP says you must do this. And I'm like, well, look, I can't remember any of that stuff. I'm just me. Yep. And that's, that's me. And people either gel with me or they won't.
Yeah. You and I are very similar in this regard, because I'm that same way too. I've done some of those courses that say this is how you got to speak yourself up. This is how you market yourself. This is how you got to network this way. Here's your elevator pitch. Here's the format, the formula to do it. And like,
and even just that makes me go, I just want to hide in the corner. Don't make me do it. Just let me talk to a group of people and be myself.
Exactly. Be myself, share, speak, because I know I have a gift. You have a gift. So we're called to share these gifts. And to your point, some people will resonate with what I have to say and how I say it, and other people won't. And that's fine. I'm quite happy for people to say, oh, thanks for the insights, but it's not for me. Good.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And so I know my deserve level, but I also waver on my deserve level for some things. So don't think that, don't think that I'm perfect. I know I'm not perfect. Like, I don't want people to think that we are, because we do these podcasts, that we deserve this, and this. Like, that's not.
No.
I don't think that. But there's moments that, how do I put this without coming across as? Yeah, there's moments for me is that I know what I deserve and I'll take it, but then I'll also take a knock. There'll be moments when I'll take a knock depending on my lifestyle choices, people around me, sleep patterns, food, all those things. And I'll go, okay, well, today I'm not going to take that. Other days I will take that. And it just depends on, you call it your PEMS.
Yeah. Looking into your physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual well-being.
Yeah. And you can take something one day and the next day not. And that's still okay. But it's okay. It's about being okay with today you're taking this, tomorrow you're not. Right. Like, don't beat yourself up that today you accepted that level, tomorrow you're not going to accept it. Like, it's okay. And I think that's the bigger one sitting in there as well.
I completely agree with you. The thing that's the theme in all of this, though, is whether you're going to take something or not take something. It's still a choice. But are you being affectionate to yourself in what you're choosing? Right? Where's the affection level in saying yes to this or no to this? Right?
Yes. Or are you, like we talked about feelings and respect, are you respecting your decision? Are you respecting yourself for right here, right now?
Mm-hmm. And that if I'm saying right here, right now, this is what resonates, this is the right thing for me now, but give me a couple hours, it might change. Yeah. Maybe it'll be different tomorrow, because it's always, and to your point on the PEMS, how did your body feel? Physically, how are you feeling? How do you feel emotionally? Do you feel a wee bit? Sometimes the cycles of the moon affects our
oh my
emotional...
God, what's that? What have we got now? Mercury.
Oh, we're in Mercury retrograde. Yeah.
Oh my God, that's stirring a lot up.
It
this one
is. It is stirring up a lot, but it's always about slowing down our communication to the point where we get to see, is this in alignment with the core of me? And this one's actually a really powerful one, because we've got a new moon coming, which is in the sign of Gemini, which is also about communication. So this is so fitting with this experiencing the affection you deserve, because that is so tied into the way you talk to yourself, the way, like you're saying about sometimes saying I deserve this and I'm taking it, or I don't deserve this and I'm not taking it. But coming to all of those scenarios with a sense of loving kindness within you, which is where I'm coming from with that idea of the affection. How can you be more affectionate, kind, caring, loving, accepting about the core of you, the truth of you, right?
Yeah, and I'm going to bring up 2 words here. Actually, 3 words. There's going to be an and in the middle. Shame and guilt.
Aha. Yes.
And shame and guilt will affect what you deserve. It will affect your feelings, emotions, affection, your energy, your every bloody thing around you.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't resolve your shame and guilt, it's such a dark thing, shame and guilt, isn't it? Well, I'm just saying it's not, but we sit it in a dark box, put it in the back of the wardrobe and hope no one ever finds out. Well, that flipping, what are those, go back to those toys that you put water on them and then they just bubble away. What are those? They weren't toys. What are they? Those little Ewoks, not Ewoks. What were they?
I don't know.
Gremlins. Gremlins.
Gremlins, okay.
Can you remember Gremlins?
No.
They were such cute little toys, and then the cute little animals, and then they got in water and they turned to the devil. If you're not, oh wow, okay. So
obviously a sheltered upbringing.
I'm gonna show it to you. Now I've completely forgot what I was saying, but
a quick wee message before we get back to this episode. You can get access to a special gift Moira and Debz have put together for you. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift. When you sign up, you'll receive instant access to an inner peace kit and the 30 Days of Wisdom program, both of which is intended to help you feel deliciously motivated right away. Go to deliciouslymotivatedmindset.com/gift.
You're saying about this. You were saying something about shame and guilt.
Oh yeah, shame and guilt. So
that'll change what you deserve.
Yeah. So that's what it's like. It's like these cute little soft toys, or they're not toys, the cute little teddy bears, and then suddenly they hit water and they turn into the devil. And that's what it's like. So when you've got shame and guilt, it's like a cute little thing that you just put away. Let's just going to put it away. Oh, sorry, it's not the cute little thing. It's got the water. Let's just put it away and hope nobody actually opens the door. No one opens the door to that wardrobe. No one opens that. No one. Out comes the energetic bunny, because when that comes out, it comes out at full force. So that's what shame and guilt is, and it can hit you at any time, but you're sitting there in the back of your mind going, oh, I hope they don't know. I hope they don't know. I hope they never find out. I remember when you were younger, people would say to you, when you got into relationships, when I say younger, I'm talking about early 20s, they'd say, oh, how many people have you slept with? And you never ever tell the truth. Well, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't know. I'm not encouraging you to lie or not lie, but that's one of those things. So, if you say
because you have a conversation of, oh my God, what are they going to think if I tell them this number?
If you're 21 years old and you say you've slept with 100 people, they're going to go, whoa, I don't want to be in a relationship with you. But if you say, if you're, 20 years old and you say, I'm still a virgin, you're instantly already going to have people who are going to judge you. So it doesn't matter whether you're 100 people, a virgin, or what. You have to choose what's best for you. So we just filter our words and we hide away from that shame and guilt. So you have to decide what you deserve, and you have to go for it without other people telling you what you deserve.
But that's the key piece here. Nobody gets to tell you what you deserve. And if you allow that to happen, it's okay once or twice, but you have to keep coming back to the point of, what can you do for yourself that helps you claim the birthright of the unconditional love, the self-worth? It's there. You don't have to.
I love that. Claim the birthright. That's yeah.
It's there because and this again, it's because it's almost like we all get caught up in these silly agreements of my self-worth is going to elevate if I have X
That
amount
can-
of money in the bank,
Yeah.
or if I have this kind of partner, or if I have this kind of car, or this house, or this type of business or work, right?
Yeah, I think, and when you meet people, the thing is they have their own stories, their scripts,
Mhm.
their past histories. But when
Their
you meet
patterns.
people, you start taking on some of their stuff and you start deciding what and how it is. And it's only when people say you shouldn't put up with that,
Right.
or that shouldn't be right, or you need to ask for more money in that job, or you need to. And that's the BS that comes from other people's stories that we take on.
Mhm.
And that's where the trouble becomes, because we look at what they've got and we go, we want a piece of that pie.
Right. But don't you think that it might be easier if people, instead of doing that, saying I need to have a piece of that pie, is to just say, when somebody says, oh, you should be charging more money, or you should ask for this, or you should, to take it in, because sometimes we attract those kind of conversations, and then you kind of just say, okay, well, that's an interesting point of view. Does it resonate with me? Is it something that I hadn't looked at before? Does it make me light up? Does it feel like the affection?
Is it mine, or is it
Yeah.
someone else's? Is it my jersey I'm putting on, or
Yeah.
jacket, or is it someone else's jacket that I'm trying to
Does
fit
this
into?
feel, yeah, does it feel good? Does it
Yeah.
feel good to me? And that's why really being aware that you are deserving of those feelings of affection and connection and worthiness, that can be your navigational tool, right?
Yeah, and I think when you were talking about that, I was thinking of the word judgment. And judgment can come in so much, because we can judge others, like I talked about that, how many people have you slept with? We come into judgment so quickly, but knowing that that is their life, they have lived their life their way.
Yep.
You can't judge them for that, but you can choose bits of what you want to change in your life or not.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's actually just acknowledging that person and respecting them for who they are and their choices, and then going, now, what do I want?
Yes.
What do I deserve? What honors me? What lights up my soul? Like what you were saying, what gives me that purple glitter?
Thank you for saying purple glitter. Absolutely. But no, that's really good point too. Because, I was having a conversation this morning about how sneaky the propensity to be looking for the approval of others is. Because if we are not careful about really telling ourselves the truth about what gives me purple glitter, what lights me up, what makes my heart sing, what gives me a feeling of calmness and ease and grace, and just really allowing ourselves to open up to that answer inside us. Because that's why I'm saying is sometimes what can happen, and I know this happens to me sometimes, is that in my mind, it's like, oh, you better choose that because that person would expect you to. Or what would people think
God, yes.
if you got the wrong choice? Or, and to your point too, where somebody might come along and say, oh, how come you did that? Wouldn't you be better doing it this way? So that's what I mean about the sneakiness of the working towards the beat of somebody else's drum. Basically, it's like, oh, I'm going to choose that because that's how that person would expect it to be.
Yeah, it's well that's even just when you're talking about that, it's the same with there's obligation and then there's doing right for your soul.
Mm-hmm.
And when I think about this, I think I'm actually just going to reference going out for dinner. Or what do you want for dinner? You want to go out for dinner. Now you may like Japanese. Oh yeah. There you go. That is exactly it. You want pasta. I want Japanese. And they're so extremely different. It's a great example. Perfect. So you want pasta. I want Japanese. So because you're my partner or my best friend or my business colleague or somebody I want to impress, what do? Do I compromise myself to go for pasta, or do I just say, you know what, I deserve Japanese, I'm going to take the Japanese.
Mm-hmm.
So this is this whole obligation, what do we choose? So
Mm-hmm.
you can pick and choose depending on your mood and also depending on who that person is.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're going to choose pasta because you want to impress that person, that's not who you are. Don't
No,
choose
you
pasta.
might actually get indigestion in that way.
Yeah. Well, that's exactly it. That's because if you go for that meal and you're doing it out of obligation,
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say shit's going to happen. Could do.
Good.
But if you go to that meal, I'm a firm believer on energy. I'm a firm believer in energy. So if you go to that meal out of obligation because your friend or the person you want to impress or partner or whatever wants that, something is going to happen to you. I'm a firm believer on that. Now, whether it is you're going to have an argument, there's going to be car problem, whatever, or your bodily functions are going to give you trouble, then whatever it is. So you have to come to a compromise on what suits you both. And that's that fair exchange we talk about. What works for you works for me, and there's a fair exchange between us both.
So it's a win-win. It does need to be a win-win. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you must have that win-win for everyone. Don't go out and impress people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do this to impress people. Do it because it feels right for your soul, because that's where you're going to get the biggest reward. And not only you, those around you are going to feel that reward, and they're going to attach to that purple glitter anyway.
Yeah.
But if you're going for pasta because that's what your friend wants and you don't like pasta, you're going to get burnt.
Yep, you will. And that's all about self-worth and owning
And that's
your right to say, this is my choice.
Yeah. And I think, I know back in controlled relationships, did we talk about that on air or off air? I think we talked about it off air before. Talked about lipstick, but it was off air. That's right. Yeah. In controlled relationships, this is the start of it. No, you will have pasta.
Right.
No, we're going out for pasta tonight, and I know what I'm going to order you. These are all parts of losing your identity. And you're handing over your deserve level to someone else.
Yep.
But you may not necessarily know it's happened until it's happened and you're out, or you hear other people say something, or you watch TV and someone goes, oh my God, that's a abusive relationship, or whatever they want to label it. Oh, that's that, controlled environment. And you're like, oh, that's what happens to me. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yeah. Reflection time.
Yeah.
Because that's the thing is that's a guidance system again, where does it make you feel comfortable if the person's saying, nope, this is what you're having, and I'm picking this for you? How does it feel? Because there will always be on subtle, even a subtle level, there will be a discomfort for you, because you're not owning that right of yours to have affection, to feel affection. I don't know about you, but somebody's telling me you're having this, that doesn't feel very affectionate.
Yeah, no, it's yes, no. I mean, yes, you're right.
Yes, no,
Sorry.
no.
Yes, you're right. You're absolutely right. And no, it's not acceptable to you. But there's some days that you are so, I'm not going to say broken, but your deserve level is, okay, I'm just going to go with this, or I can't think, or I just have no energy. Just give me whatever. And that's okay at that time.
It is, but here's the thing too, until it's like come to the how much, how long do you sit putting up with something like that before you realize you have the right to change. You have the right to say, I've allowed in that control or that mechanic or that pattern, but now it's done. I don't want it anymore. And so it's like it's just making a choice and a decision to say, I have the right to feel all layers of me, to have this sense of affection on all layers of me, all levels of me. And it's not about shaming or blaming or anything like that, right?
Well, it's respecting yourself to make a decision and stick with your decision. But you may also want to change your decision in 2 days' time or 24 hours, whatever, and that's still okay as well. Because you've had a thought about something, and then you may have reacted and you've made a decision, and then you want to backtrack. Like, that's okay. Any decision you make is okay, but it will decide on all the factors around you. But if you do keep making decisions and then changing back on it, the boy who cried wolf. You know, what's going to happen is people are going to stop listening to your decisions, and you're going to start breaking into your own uncertainty. Oh, if I say yes to this, am I going to change my mind? Is it worth actually saying yes? Should I just say no now? You know, you're going to put yourself in that chaotic spiral.
The key piece here in this spiraling or level playing is to watch your patterns, to get to know you. The real you, the truth of you. And that's how come it's about, when we talk about experiencing the affection you deserve, it's an inside job. It has to be an inside job.
Yeah.
Because the affection level that you deserve is very, very high, and it's unconditional, and it's always present. You deserve that. We all do. But we can't get into making it a requirement of a relationship. So if I say, hey, Deb, I deserve to feel affection, and so you need to be affectionate towards me. Like, that's just not going to work, right?
Didn't mean to do a little bit of a what?
So you can snort like that if I said that, but you see, this is
wasn't expecting that.
This is what I've always said, is that right there is what sets up a dysfunctional relationship. Because if that is what happened, then the other person can say, yes, of course I'll be affectionate to you, but here's what I need in return. This is my expectation in return. And right there, that's not unconditional.
Right now you're playing tennis, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. But you'll know when your soul says this person needs a hug. You know, we had the earthquake in Christchurch over 10 years ago, and what it did was you'd walk down the street and you'd just see somebody, and you'd be able to read their patterns, their energy. You'd see them, and you'd start hugging flipping strangers. Now, I'm not a hugger of a stranger unless I'm at an event. That's a bit different. But you would just hug someone, and they would just melt into your arms, and you wouldn't pull away. You would just hug them because it felt right. And I think that's the thing, is your soul knows what to do.
That's right.
If you're forcing something, or you're listening to somebody and you've got to really analyze it, it's not for you. You don't need to analyze anything. Your intuition is telling you what to do all the time if you're present and you're living in that heartfelt space.
I love that you said that, because you know what that is? It's about surrender. It's surrendering to the wisdom of your soul. It's always there, whispering and giving you affection, right? So following your intuition and your soul's guidance, your wisdom, that feels like a massive bear hug to me. I don't know about you.
Yeah, it just came from that. But that's experiencing the affection you deserve. We all deserve amazing things, no matter what you've done or not done. But it's up to you to take control of your life, accountability to your life, and make your decisions.
Claim it.
Yeah. Wow. That just checked the time and went, okay, now time's up.
It is. That felt like a really perfect spot to wrap it up.
I think there's nothing more than needs to be said, except we have to rate ourselves again. So I think you were a 0. We were both zeros, weren't we?
I was a 0, yeah.
Yeah, I'm still sitting in a 0.
I am too. But this did feel like a gentle hug. I hope it did to our listeners too.
Yeah, I trust you got something out of it. Peeps, do let us know. And you know, if it stirred some emotion up, because it definitely got me thinking about certain things of my levels of deserve. If it stirred stuff up, let us know.
Yeah, please
Moira's there, Deborah's here. We both have amazing insights, and Deborah snorts a lot. Moira has a gentle tone. We're a bit different, but we're not different. So please reach out to individually or together.
Absolutely.
Because I think, well, that's what we're here for.
That is exactly what we're here for.
We're here to help you respect yourself, your emotions, and help you deserve.
Navigate any kind of turbulent stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So let us know where you were. Let us know where you're at. And I'm just signing off. I'm signing off. Was it me to sign off today? I guess it was.
You to sign off.
It is now.
It
Good.
was.
Okay. Phew. Because I've done it now anyway.
You did it. You did good.
So thank you, listeners. Thank you, Moira, for this inspiring conversation. And we will all talk to you next week. Reach out if you've got any questions, or even just to give us some
feedback.
Affection.
Some affection.
Feedback. Well, feedback is affection.
Yes, it is.
I might not listen to it, but you never know. Yeah.
I will.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Moira. Thank you, listeners.
Thanks, Debz. Thanks, listeners. Bye.
Bye.